In this video, we're going to discuss creating a simple GIF animation. Um, for the most part, creating a GIF animation is something that you would do in Photoshop, but you can actually create artwork in other applications. In this case, we're going to create it in Illustrator, and then you can bring it into Photoshop, and you can begin to create your animation. So first, let's talk about what we have here in Illustrator. Now, in order for this to work, this has to be set up in the CMYK color space. All right, so it won't work if it's in the RGB color space, only because you won't be able to export it out the way you need to if you do it in the RGB color space. Ultimately, it's going to end up an RGB graphic, but to start off with, you need to, if you're building it in Illustrator, you need to make sure you're in the CMYK color space. All right, so here we have a graphic, and this is in Illustrator, and we have, if you notice here with the layers, we have 4 layers here. We have a base layer, then we have a layer for the red, and then we have a layer for the yellow, and we have a layer for the green. And of course, we have the words here. Red means stop, green means go, and yellow means hurry up because red is coming. Well, no, it doesn't mean that. But anyway, so we have these 4 layers here in Illustrator. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to File. We're going to drop down to Export, and then you're going to say where it says Export As. All right, and then when you say Export As, you're going to get to this dialog box, and we're going to export this thing as a Photoshop PSD file because we want to maintain the layers. So we'll say Photoshop PSD. All right, and then when we say, and then we want to say use artboard, and we're going to discuss that in a minute as well. So we'll say Photoshop PSD, use artboard, and we'll say export. Now when you get to this point right here, you're going to have that option to say whether you want it as a flat image or if you want it with the layers. We want it with the layers. As you can see, if we were to bring it to RGB, that option is not available to us. So we want to make sure CMYK, we want to write layers, all right, preserve the text transparency or editability. We can say that, that's optional, and then we'll say okay. All right, so what it's doing now is going to export it out as a Photoshop PSD file. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that PSD file, and we can take a look at it and see what it looks like with the layers. All right, so here you have, this is the Photoshop PSD file. All right, and if we come here, you'll notice we have the layers. We have the green, the yellow, the red, and the base. All right, the base, of course, that's where we have the text and the live matter. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create our GIF animation. So now what we want to do is we're going to go up to Image, go down to Mode, and we're going to make that RGB because there has to be an RGB in the RGB color space in order for it to work as a animated GIF. So we're going to say don't merge because we want to still keep those layers. So now we have it as an RGB image. All right. So the next up is we're going to go to Windows. All right. We're going to drop down to Timeline. When you drop down to Timeline, you want to say Create Frame Animation. Click on that. So now when you have the animation that's selected, you can notice that it's going to show you in this little thumbnail here, it's going to show you the image that you're looking at right here. So what we want to do is we're going to start this thing off where we're going to keep it as the entire, the full graphic with all of the layers visible. So next up we're going to do is we're going to come over here. You can't see it, but I'm going to bring it into the screen. Okay, there we go. We're going to add another frame. So we start off with frame 1. Now we have frame 2. Now with frame 2, what we're going to do is we're going to hide the yellow and we're going to hide the green. So basically you're starting off with the red. All right. Then we're going to add another frame. And in this frame, we're going to bring back the green. Now let's bring back the yellow. Okay. So now you have frame 1 has all 3. Frame 2 has the red. Frame 3 has the red and the yellow. And then we're going to add another frame, and it's going to have all three. So we'll have the red, frame 2 has the red, 3 has red and yellow, 4 has all three, and then of course 1 is complete as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select, put our finger on the shift key, you select all 4 of these frames, all right, and then what we're going to do is really with a 0.5 second, it's going to be, the timing is going to be 0.5 seconds between each frame, all right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play it, just like you have on a regular audio player. We're going to click this and we're going to play it so you can see what it does. All right, so you can see that's how it's playing, and we have it to loop forever so that you can see this thing. It's going, from one frame to the next, and it's giving a 0.5 second interval between the frames. All right, great. So we'll stop this right here. Next up, we're going to go up to File, drop down to where it says Export, and then we're going to say Export. We're going to save for web legacy, and we'll say OK. And then we're going to get this dialog box. So now I'm not sure what all of this stuff means, but if you notice, I'm going to tell you to save it as a GIF, 32, whatever that is, dithered. All right, and then I'm going to drop down to where it says make sure you have looping forever. All right, and then you can say save. All right, and at that point you can see it gives it that .gif extension, or some people say GIF, I say GIF. All right, so now we'll say save and pull this up so you can see it. We'll say save. All right, and what it's going to do now is going to save it as a simple GIF animation. So next up, we're going to talk about how you can put this into a third-party application, or even build it into Facebook or your social media. And we're going to talk about why we kept the artboard when we brought this into Photoshop. Okay. Next up, we're going to actually place that simple GIF animation into Facebook. But before we do that, I just wanted to talk to you guys about why it was important to actually export out the artboard from Illustrator. And it does not have to, when you are creating a GIF animation or any kind of animation or any image for that matter, you don't really have to be concerned so much with size. But if you want to get the optimal or the optimum presentation value or effect, if you will, your images should be a 1-to-1 ratio. In other words, your height should equal your width, which means that your space, your actual graphic space, should be a square. That's how it would work best, especially in platforms like Facebook. So anyway, that's just a little FYI. Whenever you're creating graphics for especially Facebook and other social media sites, it's always good to keep the ratio 1-to-1. Again, that would be a square. So now we're here in Facebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to I'm going to create a post. I'll click on photo or video. All right. Then I will navigate my way to where I have my GIF animation, and it's sitting on my desktop. I'll bring that in. Now, Facebook and other social media platforms will see it as a video because it is more than just a static image. It's something that has some activity going on. So it's seen as it's actually seen, as a video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just give it a name. I'll say simple GIF animation. Let me see. This is a simple, and I say GIF, some people say GIF animation. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll say post. Now I'm going to get a prompt that says that it's going to take a minute for it to process, and then of course I'll be alerted when it's ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll wait for it to do what it needs to do, and then we'll come back and take a look at it and see how it looks when it is actually posted in a third-party application or platform. Okay, so after about, oh, say 5 minutes inside of, all right, we're back here at Facebook, and we did a refresh, and as I scroll down, you'll see that, okay, there is the post right here. So, and if you guys are not aware of this, when you put it to your feed, it's going to put it in rotation. It puts it in the order of, when things have been posted. So, but you have an option. So if you notice the little three dots right here, they're in the upper right hand corner, just click on that. And then I could say here, pin to top of page. So this way now, once I say pin to top of page, we'll see what happens. It'll think about it. You see we get the little spinning beach ball right there. And then what'll happen is it'll be at the very top of the page until something else replaces it. Okay, so there you have it, our simple GIF animation. So that's how you create a simple GIF animation.